Greetings everyone. I'm really happy to see you here. In today's video, we'll be talking about self-confidence and self-doubt in young children and adolescents. So I'll be quickly telling you the list of the things we'll be covering, and then after that we'll be covering each and every topic in detail. So the very first thing we're going to talk about what basically is the sign that your child or your adolescent might be going through any kind of confidence issue, any kind of self-doubt they might be going through. We'll be talking about signs and symptoms through their verbal language, their body language. We'll be talking about how it impacts the child's mentality, how it impacts the child holistic development. We'll see how when all these things, when the confidence issue, when the self-doubt becomes a problem, and where do we need to draw a thin line that they need a treatment there or they need a counseling there. We'll be talking about several reasons why this happened so that you can protect your child in the future, so that they do not go through this in the future. We'll be talking about a few myths and facts also. There are a lot of myths and facts when we talk about children specifically, and when we talk about confidence, parents and teachers and young people do have myths that they are taking, that they are considering. Then I'll be sharing a few tips and tricks for the parents. I'll be sharing what to do, what not to do, and I hope all these things will be very helpful for you. All these things will be very helpful for your child to have a very happy, very confident life. Stay tuned for more information as I share. So in this starting, let's discuss about the signs and symptoms to know if our child or adolescent is going through any kind of confidence issue or self-doubt. So I'll be sharing a few, some sign and symptom, basically identifier, which may give us a hint that our child is going through something, and we need to look at them. We need to talk to them about it. We need to see that where it is coming and what it is to protect our child from the things that I'll be mentioning ahead. So first, let's just understand a few signs and symptoms. First of all, it's observed that children having low confidence or having a lot of self-doubt tend to avoid things or tend to leave the things in between. They tend to leave the challenging thing and they would not even participate into it just because of the fear of failure. So a lot of parents tell that, my child knows this answer, he has already performed this task in front of me, but when he goes to school or any particular environment, he or she wouldn't engage into it. So what is happening, the child is very much fearful that he may not be able to succeed into that task, or that task will be very challenging. It will be very critical for himself or herself to take that failure, to accept that failure. So the child would simply try to avoid that thing and make excuses or leave that thing in between. Another thing that comes from this is the child or the adolescent tend to judge the situation from the initial cues of the outcome. They would simply judge that if I'll be able to complete this thing or not, if I'll be able to manage this challenge or not, and then based on their initial judgment about the outcome, they would either complete the task or leave the task in between. So they have a very they are very likely to switch or get interrupted within the task or within the challenge that you will be giving. Then there can be a lot of there can be sign of regression also. So we have seen that children who are having some kind of confidence issue or who are having some kind of self-doubt, they tend to clinch to their parents, where their need is that their parents pamper them, their parents give them all the attention, all the love, all the support. So even if the child is like in is entering the secondary school, but the child may regress back to earlier ages, and they would need the parents to comfort them when they're not happy, then you can see a lot of mood changes happening in these children across different situations, across different places. So it has been seen that a child may be perfectly all right at home, but what would happen that in the school they might be very shy, in the playground they might be very irritable, very frustrated, they may throw temper tantrums. So these kind of mood fluctuations can be seen within one place this also within one situation also, or across multiple situations. So mood fluctuation can happen, and I have mentioned a lot other things. Talking about more symptoms, we can observe that children, or specifically adolescents, it's happened a lot in adolescent age, that people or children tend to, self use statements that are very self-critical. They would say really bad to themselves. They may say that, it's all my fault. I'm never right. I always make mistakes. I always make people upset. I cannot do anything good. They would avoid taking responsibilities. They may say that people do not like me. They may say that if the child is having a lot of body image issue and that is resulting in low confidence, they may say that they appear really ugly. They may say that I'm really fat, I have this problem, I have that problem. So a lot of self-critical statement, or something like it's always my fault into it, or everyone is better than me and I am not good enough. So these kind of self-statement can be either heard through their discussion, or if the child or adolescent is having a habit of diary writing or making some drawing, they may reflect into into it, or they may even talk to their friends about it if they're comfortable with that. So these can be very important identifier to see if the child is using such kind of negative self statement or very critical statement that is impacting their confidence, but that is also coming from their low confidence and their self-doubt. Other things can be that they they are very much concerned about the opinion of other people. They would do such activities that has to bring positivity from other people, otherwise they would not do it, or they'll feel very bad about it. Or in fact, it's quite difficult for such people to accept the praise or criticism. Definitely, it's very very harmful for the child who's already having confidence issue, and that child would actually shatter if there would be a lot of criticism, mainly from the significant others, from the significant around people around him or her. So critical statements, it's difficult for them to accept, and they do not even accept the praises. If you give them praise, they may also doubt the praise that you are giving. So I'll talk about it, how to raise a child who's having such kind of issues, so that they actually understand that they are praised for that, and they do not take it negatively, or they do not doubt the praise. Then as I mentioned, they would require their parents to give them attention, to validate them, to validate their emotions, that okay, you are going through that, I understand. They want whatever they're thinking, they would like that someone who is very close to the child or the adolescent is validating their feeling, their thoughts, whatever they are doing, their actions. So they would seek a lot of validation, a lot of attention, a lot of comfort from outside sources. Then they would appear more introvert, they would appear more shy in social situations, because they are quite afraid of the failure, a fear of failure. They are quite afraid that they may make mistakes and they might not act well, so they would avoid the social situation, they would avoid to talk to people. So these are the few identifiers through which you can get an idea that if my child or my adolescent is going through similar kind of problems. And we'll be talking about we'll be talking more about it. Stay tuned for that. So I'll be sharing a few statements that are commonly observed by children or adolescents who are going through some kind of confidence issue, or they're having a lot of self-doubt within them. So there are the following statements. Definitely there can be multiple statements that can indicate, but these are the commonly observed one. Such children or such adolescents would apologize a lot. So the statement I am sorry would be repeated a lot, and they might be even sorry for themselves that they are not able to do it. They'll be sorry for their parents that they are not able to accept, reach their parents' expectation. They would be sorry to their friends. They would be sorry to their teachers. So there would be a lot of apologies that they'll be asking. And what is happening internally, they are not able to accept their failures, and they want to apologize to themselves, and therefore it's coming out. So such statements, I am sorry, would be repeated a lot. Then statements like you are right, or I am wrong, or you may be right, you may be, more knowledgeable than me, and I trust your words more than mine. This reflect a lot of confidence issues. This reflect a lot of self-doubt. Then, using, as I have already mentioned, using self-critical statements that I am fat, I am ugly, I am not good, I am, not helpful, I am not perfect. So these kind of statements can be used by children or adolescents that reflect all these things. Then they could be that they would not like my, as I mentioned, that these children are very observant about what other people thinks. So they, rather than directly jumping into any activity, they would first think about that if people are going to like that or not. So if you tell them to do any activity, the statement might be that people may not even like that, people would not appreciate that. Such kind of statements are common. And lastly, such children who are having confidence issue, they stutter a lot, they stammer a lot. So they would give pauses, they would take more time to say one statement, they would repeat their statement again and again, so that it makes more impact. So all these statements are common. Genuinely, there are different statements. There can be multiple statements that can be identified, but these are the common ones. Now let's talk about the body language. How can we get to know if a person, child, adolescent, or anyone is having any kind of confidence issue, any kind of self-esteem issue, or having a self-doubt? And if a child is not letting you know about their issues, you can get to know, you can get an indication that they might be going through some kind of issue through their body languages. I'll be sharing a quick tip to know that. So the very first thing is eye contact. If you're having a good eye contact, you're not staring, but you are looking into the eye of other person, that means that you're comfortable with whatever you are doing. If the person is trying to avoid the eye contact, or trying to look down while talking to you, it may reflect that the child or adolescent is not that confident in front of you, or having a lot of doubt for themselves. Then if we talk about posture, it's seen that such people or such children or adolescents have a bent posture. They would bend their shoulders, they would shrug their shoulders, their backbone wouldn't be straight, they're bending forward. They can have a closed posture where they're trying to close their front torso area. They're trying to close their hands also, like this, and they're trying to keep a distance from other person. Distance also matters a lot, so they're trying to back off somehow and not come close into the proximity of other person. They're having a lot of space, boundary space that they are having. So all these things. And another indicator can be that some people tend to use mobile phones more, or tend to play games, or use social media in social situation to avoid social contact. So a lot of usage of phone in front of other people may indicate that the child is not so comfortable talking in front of people. They are not very comfortable, and they're having a lot of self-doubt within themselves, and they want to avoid all these things, and therefore they're using their phone. So these are the small identifiers I have mentioned, through which we can identify the child may be going through all these things. Now let's talk about a very important topic, and that is how low self-confidence and high self-doubt affects the child, how it impacts the child's well-being. And here we're not just going to talk about how it is presently impacting, we'll be talking about how it is going to affect in the future as well. So the very first thing that is seen is the intense feeling of helplessness. The child or the adolescent that feel that nothing can help them out, even they are not able to help them out, their situations out, and they feel a lot of powerlessness, that they are not capable of improving their situation. They're not capable, they're not powerful enough to make any change in any situation. They're not capable enough of managing the problems or the challenges they are facing, or anyone else is facing. They would take a back step when it comes to help themselves or other people, or show some efforts. Then there can be a lot of poor self-image on, like, when you talk to them, when you talk to them about themselves, or when you ask about themselves, you can understand from the tone or the choice of word that they are not very confident, they're not very positive about their self-image, about their self-esteem, about how they think about themselves. There can be a lot of self-hatred. Sometimes it happens that the child or adolescent doesn't directly show that they hate themselves, but it can be seen through their diaries. It can be seen through their, conversation, during their conversation, that they do not like talking about themselves. They do not like their activities, and even if you are appreciating them, they would not accept it, because in their mind they have a concept that I am not good enough, I hate myself for that. So there can be a lot of self-hatred. Then there can be a lot of anxiety. Definitely, if the child is going through the confidence issue, they would suffer anxiety. In the present, in the future, it may increase also, and we'll talk how it becomes a problem. When we talk about anxiety, they can have social anxiety, where they are not comfortable in the society, social gathering. They can have specific anxiety. They can have developed phobias also. They can have stage fears also. So all these anxieties can happen because of low confidence and a lot of self-doubt or negative self-statement they're having, which may definitely impact their performance. We're talking about the performance in school, we're talking about performance in college, we are talking about performance in college, occupation as well. So a lot of performance activities also hindered because of all these confidence issues. Then it's seen that all these children or adolescents takes more time to adapt to the changes. So if you would take them to a new friend's place or new relative's place or new school or new environment, they would take more time than other children to adapt into that and to be peacefully happily adapted to that situation. So adaptability can be a problem. Then they would struggle in their relationship. This is seen, but this may vary. Definitely, people may be more comfortable in specific situations, specific relationship. They're more happy with their family, but they're not so comfortable with the friends. Or they may be comfortable with their friends, but not be comfortable with their schoolmates. So their relationship can actually suffer presently also, and in the future also. They may not have a good relationship in their workplaces. So this can happen, and this can give a long lasting impact. Then there can be, like, it is seen that such people tend to be people pleaser. What are they? They tend to do such activity that pleases others, and what's the benefit of it? It's not going to bring any criticism. So they make sure they analyze what people like, and forgetting about their opinions, forgetting about their preferences, they would act in such way that other people are accepting it and validating it. So these can be these can be the effects that how confidence and self-doubt are impacting them in the present situation and can have a long-lasting impact. We have already talked about the effects, the short-term and the long-term effects of low confidence and high self-doubt. But now let's talk about how this thing can result into mental health issues or mental health disorders. So first of all, I've already explained that such children or adolescents are very prone to anxiety. And as they are not so comfortable with their friends or their social surrounding, they may feel lonely also. They may feel that they do not have people around them to connect with. There is a possibility that they may also feel depressed. And there is another possibility that to feel better, to feel more confident within themselves, to abstain themselves from doubting themselves, there is a possibility that they can get into substance abuse to avoid that situation. There is a possibility that they can be very aggressive towards other people because they are not so happy within themselves. So these things can happen, and if the confidence is lacking because of the body image issues or the body image problem, they can have a lot of body image issues where they do not like themselves, and they can try to binge eating, or they can try to abstain from eating, resulting in eating disorders. So body image issues can happen, self image issues can happen, eating problems can happen, anxiety, depression, substance abuse. These can be the comorbidities, we call it, that can happen along with having a confidence issue and self-doubt in childhood. So therefore it's very important that we look into it, what our child is going through, where we need to find a thin line that now this is problematic and now we need a counselor. And I would say that if we see the effects or the signs and symptoms, it's more healthier to visit the counselor initially so that they can work on the root cause rather than working on the disorder that they have turned into. Now let's try to understand that if we are talking about that these issues happen in the childhood or adolescence, we need to understand why this is happening so that we can even prevent all these things from happening, so that our child doesn't get into all the problems we have discussed. The very first thing that can be as simple as personality trait. So some children do have personality traits that they are not very confident about themselves. So it's a very basic personality, and through skill building, through counseling, that can be managed. Another thing can be constant comparison in their immediate surrounding. It can be their home, it can be their school, it can be their friends, it can be their relatives. In young age, when children or adolescents are compared, or they are any criticism is passed, any critical statement is passed, any negative statement that reflects on their capabilities are passed, and when they are compared from their siblings or their friend, it makes them feel that they are not good enough, and they tend to then understand that statement, accept it, and doubt themselves after, for everything. Then they can be, as I mentioned, the statements from significant others are very, very important. What you say to your child, what a teacher say to a child, what your friends or your relatives say to a child is very important for their self-concept, their understanding about themselves. Then how well you are into a relationship with your child. Parent-child relationship is very important. I'll give you an example. So if the child is not getting that much of attention the way the child wants, they may think that there's something wrong with themselves, or they're doing something wrong because of which their parents are not giving enough attention, or they're not validating, or they're not accepting, or they're not appreciating. So there comes the self-doubt that there's some fault in me because of which it's happening. So parent-child relationship is very important. Similarly, relationship with other people, their relatives, their school teachers also plays a very important role. Then we talk about trauma. Sometimes it happens that children go through trauma. We may say that children, they do not care, and they cannot have these memories, these things would not affect, but that's not true. They have an understanding, and rather than rational understanding, they sometimes have irrational understanding also. But how trauma impacts, they may think that at that time I wasn't able to protect myself, I wasn't able to do this and that gives me low confidence that I will be able to protect myself in the future as well. So trauma can result in a lot of self-doubt. Then there can be body image issues. I cannot emphasize less on this, because everywhere we see media, we see social media, we see movies, we see games, everywhere a specific body type is promoted. So not having that body type, not having that appearance that is projected to us, gives a lot of body image issues, which is very unhealthy for a child's confidence, for an adolescent's confidence, where they actually require it, and the sources are media, and when they do not match that image, they doubt themselves. Then can be learning. Sometimes it's seen that if the parent or the primary caregiver or someone who is very close to the child or adolescent, if they use a lot of self-critical statement, if they criticize themselves a lot, if they do not appreciate or value themselves, child have a tendency to learn that thing and apply it to themselves. So learning can be a big challenge. Less of appreciation or validation. I always say that it's important for the parent to validate the feeling of the child. So if that's not happening, child may not, may doubt on his or her feelings. He or she may doubt on his or her thoughts and their behavior as well. So appreciation and validation is very important. Last can be bullying, where if the child is bullied, they feel a lot of confidence issue. So these things can result in confidence issue. There can be multiple other things as well, but these are the common features, common reasons. We have come to a very interesting segment, and I really enjoyed this segment. And this is breaking the myths and the facts, and telling the facts. So the very first thing that comes to me, parents ask this, school teachers ask it, and everyone around us ask it, that are the children even that mature enough to have any problem? Are the children, young children or young adolescents, do they even have real problems? What do you think the answer is? That yes, they are having real problems, and if we are ignoring their problems, they may turn into really unfortunate thing that we do not want for a child. I have already mentioned how these can impact a lot of this can impact in a lot of areas, not even just in the present. They can impact our future. They may also lead to mental health disorders. So whatever the children is going through, if it's problematic, we need to listen to the child. We need to work on that. Second statement that comes is, my child is not having any kind of confidence issue. It's just that the child or the adolescent is shy. Definitely, there is a possibility that your child or your adolescent is shy, but not every time. If they are shy, they may have confidence issue. They may be self-doubting themselves, and therefore they are not talking about it. Therefore, they are not communicating with their family, their friends, and whoever is around them. Next statement that comes is, poor performance is only linked to mental ability. So if my child is getting low score in school and not having good performance in school activities or challenges that are provided, it's just he's not capable of doing it. He's not learning it properly. No, it's not the case. Sometimes the child knows the right answer, but they doubt themselves so much. Even the adolescent, they doubt themselves so much that they're so afraid of failure that they would not write the answer, that they would not speak the answer or do the problem solving or the task that you have given. So it's not always about their mental capabilities, it's also about their confidence in themselves and the self-doubt that has been created for them. Next statement is what I hear: child will get better as they mature. So I have heard this a lot, that they get better automatically when they mature. They learn a lot of things, and they all these problems goes away. And again, I am repeating, I have already mentioned how these things can actually impact in the future and result in mental health disorders. So it's not like if the child is going to mature, he or she may get better by themselves. You may actually need to intervene. You may actually need to talk to your child, and you may actually need to take the counseling also for your child. The last statement that I hear is, everything is related to bad parenting. What do you think about it? Take a moment. No. As I have already mentioned, several reasons that come across so many different domains, even the personality of the child. I think, sometimes definitely parenting impacts, but only worrying about the parenting, only considering that it's because of bad parenting can be a negative statement. It can be a very harsh statement for the parents themselves. So it's not only parents, there are multiple reasons. We have talked about it. So these are common myths that I have come across, and if you have more, you can definitely comment and I will try to reply as soon as possible. We have talked about what confidence issue is, how we can analyze that our child, adolescents can be going through that, what could be the effects of it in the long term, how can we actually find the reason why this is happening, how, like common statements that we hear in our surrounding. We have talked about everything. Now, I think it's the right time to talk what to do in this situation. If I identify my child or someone close to me has been going through this, what to do about it? The very first thing I would suggest is taking to a counselor, talking to a counselor. It's good because they would get to know your child personally, they would get to know you personally, and they would get to know, give you personal suggestions and personal strategies that will help you and your child in a long term. Other things that what you can do by yourself can be using positive statements. These statements can be simply as appreciating your child. It can be that you're very brave, you're very strong, and giving them reasons why they're doing it, or why you're saying that they're strong. If you say that you're very brave, tell them that you're brave because you went to the other room at night without me. If you're saying they're very strong, tell them the reason why you're saying that. So everything you say, appreciate them, but tell them the reason so that they can believe into it. And this is the right place where I was mentioning that even if we sometimes appreciate the child because of the self-doubt, they would not accept that appreciation. So giving them reason why they're good, using positive statement can actually help the child. Now, spending time with children, it's very, very important. It's very important. Why? When you're spending time with your children, definitely you're seeing them growing, you're appreciating them, you are telling them that you are there with them, they can communicate with you, you are filling them with a lot of positive emotions for themselves as well. When you appreciate them, when you spend time, they feel that they are important, they feel that they are needed, their confidence grows, right? So giving time to your children is very important. Otherwise, what would happen if you're not able to give enough time as required by the child may misinterpret it in a way that there's something in me, there's some fault in me because of which my parents are not able to give me time. So we have to take care of this. Another thing is reassuring your support, telling them that we are here. If you go through anything, if you face any challenge, any failure, anything, we are here to talk about it, we are here to protect you. And even letting your child take the stand for themselves. It's not always important that you take a stand for your child and you push them back and you stand for them. No, this way they are not going to learn. Let them take a stand. Just give them feedbacks, give them suggestions, what could be a better way of doing it. Asking them what could, even sharing your problem. I know sometimes the child may not be able to understand, or adolescent may not be able to understand, but at least we're giving them space for problem solving where they're learning how to solve the situation. So letting them take a chance, sharing a proper feedback that this could be better, sharing pros and cons. It's their decision what to do, but you can share pros and cons. These are the things that can actually impact. This may seem that it's small thing, but it's not. It can actually help your child a lot. And as I mentioned, personal counseling sessions are always recommended because it's individualized. It's individualized as per the need of your child. It's individualized as per your relationship with the child and your home environment. I hope this whole session was very important, very helpful for you, and I hope it results in something positive for your child.